This wheel is the most powerful EUC you can ever get. This is the Begode ET Max, the first 168 volts wheel ever released. Is that power upgrade worth it? And will it be good for you? Stick around and I'll tell you if the Begode ET Max is a wheel that you should get. Hello guys and welcome to another video. A few years ago, Begode released the Master with its higher voltage of 134 volts. This significant power upgrade you would get with a Master really opened the possibilities of what you could do with an electric unicycle. And now Begode takes the lead again with the ET Max and its higher voltage of 168 volts. In this video, I'm gonna go through the specs of that wheel, and then I'll tell you what I like and don't like about the Begode ET Max. And finally, I'll give you my conclusions about this electric unicycle. First, as always, a big shout out to Jason and Ewheels for providing the ET Max. If you would like to get this wheel, there's a link in the description down below. Using my link really helps the channel as well. Also, gentle reminder to like and subscribe so that you don't miss any new review. Thanks guys. So what are the specs of this wheel? The Begode ET Max is a 20-inch tire EUC. It is equipped with 50S batteries with a capacity of 3000 Wh. These are completed with a smart BMS. The wheel has a C38 high torque motor with a power of 4500 watts. Suspension-wise, the ET Max is equipped with a coil spring suspension with a travel of 130 mm. The shock of the suspension is quite customizable, more on this later. Design-wise, the wheel is very beautiful. It's all black, very discreet, but still aggressive. At the front of the wheel you got a headlight and a front handle that looks like the one on the Lynx. On the side you got two long side panels completed with power pads and spiked pedals. The pedals height is adjustable. The stock pads are beautiful, they complete the design of the wheel, but as usual they're gonna end up being removed. At the back of the wheel you got a kickstand, the shock and a rear light that is integrated to the seat. At the top of the wheel you got a speedometer display and a metal trolley handle. Alright, let's go now with the things I like about the Begode ET Max. I like the design and the build quality of the ET Max. At first glance, the wheel looks like a copy of the Lynx, but there is way more to that. The wheel has a sporty looks, all black, very discreet, but very beautiful. At the front of the wheel they included LED lights, and these remind me of the ones on the Monster Pro. The overall build quality of the ET Max is quite good. You can tell that Begode keeps improving wheel after wheel. I like the stock tire of the ET Max. It has an IT90 profile, which means it's wider. That's not something you often see on a stock tire. Basically, it reminds me of the Michelin Pilot Street 2, but wider. The result is having a very stable tire, but the tire is rounded enough to allow you to carve with no problem. It ends up giving you a very comfortable ride. The wheel is heavy and that's a fact. But I've noticed that this helps with the stability of the wheel, and that's why I like the ride feel of the ET Max. It's a 168 volts wheel, and when you accelerate with the Begode ET Max, you notice it. The first time I tried the wheel, it felt sluggish like a V13. I sent this feedback to Ewheels and they worked with Begode to deliver a new firmware update. The sluggish feeling is gone and the wheel accelerates now like crazy. 0 to 40 miles per hour in a matter of few seconds. But that's not the end of it. Because of the physics of the wheel, the ET Max feels very stable at high speed. It is very different to what I felt with the Lynx. There is nothing worse than feeling unstable at 50 miles plus per hour. But that's not what you're gonna get on the ET Max. This wheel is the ultimate high-speed electric unicycle. this speedrun, I've hit 56 miles per hour and I've started to beep from 52 miles per hour all the way up to 56 miles per hour. I didn't adjust the PWM in darkness bot, and I also did not activate the magnetic weakening. In this test, I just wanted to check the top speed of the wheel with no magnetic weakening at 168 volts. I'm observing performances on par with the EX30 at 134 volts. I must say it was the most stable speedrun I've ever done, thanks to the physics of the ET Max. I have seen riders going faster than this on the ET Max. So I was expecting to reach such speeds as well, and with no beeps, but I'm 235 pounds. That's not light. However, my weight is my own benchmark. If I can hit 56 miles per hour on the ET Max, it means that the majority of riders who decide to get this wheel will at least obtain the same performance, if not better, when doing high-speed runs, as I expect a majority of riders to be lighter than me. Overall, I like the top speed performance of the ET Max. Should I activate the magnetic weakening, I'm sure that I could potentially hit 60 miles per hour. I like the customization possibilities that this wheel offers. On the ET Max, you can change the pedals height very easily, and the height range available is not bad. You can set up the pedals very low, but also very high. When I first got the wheel, the LED lights at the front were constantly on and it was not possible to turn them off. In a city setting, it's not ideal. Ewheels raised this concern to Begode, and after a firmware update, it's now possible to turn the LED lights off. It's another customization win for riders. When a rider likes to change things on his wheel like pedals height or lights, it doesn't mean that he's lacking of something. That would be very condescending to say. It's just about owning the wheel a bit more and be comfortable. And EUC makers are starting to understand it as well. I verified this with the ET Max as I was testing it. Alright, let's go now with what I don't like about the Begode ET Max. I can't think of a lot of things to dislike about this wheel, but there are two things that I feel could be better. The trolley handle design is a bit weird. It's a piece of metal that folds on top of the wheel. It is not practical to hold or to unfold if you wear gloves. It is also not comfortable when you ride seated. With the ET Max, Begode designed their own shock. They had in mind to offer more customization to riders when it comes to suspension. On the ET Max, this shock is called the DS21065. By default, it's set up with a 1300 pounds spring, but I think with E-Wheels you can get a 900 pounds one as well. If you want to enjoy correctly the suspension of your wheel, it is very important that you set up correctly this shock. You can find three components here: a valve core, a blue knob and a red knob. On the valve core, if you put more air, you're gonna have more damping. Begode recommends to put between 50 and 100 psi. On this unit, I've set it up to 80 psi. The blue knob will help to set up the compression. The red knob is to be used to set up the rebound. When you turn them clockwise, it will increase their effect. If you go counterclockwise, it will reduce their effect. So the goal here is to mix the setup of the compression, rebound and the PSI in order to obtain your ideal suspension setup. I like the suspension to be very soft, so on my setup, I have the blue knob all the way counterclockwise to have no compression, and I turn the red knob a full round in order to have a minimum of rebound. I hope that this small tutorial will help you to set up your wheel faster. The ET Max is delivered with a 1300 pounds spring. I'm a 235 pounds rider. Begode says that this spring should be okay for my weight. It mostly is, but as soon as you ride on broken terrain, then the suspension will feel terrible. So I recommend you guys to swap the spring to something rated lower. went with what I like and don't like about the ET Max. In conclusion, who is this wheel for and what do I think about it? If I were to describe a wheel that would be custom-made for me, I would mention almost all the specs of the ET Max. With its great physics, the wheel is very comfortable to ride. The stock tire is quite good, so good that they will also put it on the Commander GT Pro. Its higher voltage translates into a great acceleration. There's a clear gap with the previous generations of wheels in that respect. The ET Max, in my opinion, would fit riders who love speed, but not just them. It can also be a great all-rounder wheel, except for off-road. The suspension of the ET Max is good enough, but not great, but I'm sure we'll see coming all sorts of custom linkages and shocks for this wheel. The ET Max is also a great fit for tall riders. If you like seated riding, it's the perfect EUC. I really enjoyed testing this electric unicycle. Begode upped their game with the ET Max, and I'm sure that many riders will love this wheel.